Reef Diary, Hawaii. Today's dive took place at Mala Pier, which is an area that is filled with all kinds of coral and fish and other things. So I wanted to go ahead and share what we did today. We shore dove, which means you walk out into the ocean, cautiously find a spot to put on your fins, and then swim out to the reef. Now, the reef is almost instantaneously happening right from where the pylons of the former pier exist. And as you work your way out, it's rocky and there's some sand, and then it kind of opens up to the point where you can actually swim. But the maximum depth is about 31 feet, so it's not super deep. The temperature outside was about 82 degrees, the water temperature was about 79, and the clarity of the water was pretty good. I'd say, I don't know, I would estimate 100 feet of visibility. And I asked some questions like, what are these fish? Because they weren't readily obvious to me because they're not in my aquarium. These are goatfish. And you can tell because they have little whiskers on the front, and when they get down in the sand, they use those whiskers to look for food. But then they retract those whiskers when they swim in a group, which you see happening here. We are diving as a group of 5 people, and we basically stayed within each other's eye line the entire time. So there was Jesse and Steven, and Ashley and Kevin and myself. Jesse and Steven are the owners of Maui Diving's Scuba and Snorkel Center, and Ashley and Kevin work for them, and they're all my friends. So when I came here to Maui, I had the opportunity to swim with my friends, which was really, really nice. A very popular thing to see in Hawaii is going to be the green sea turtles, and they are protected. You're not allowed to touch them. And if you get too close, the turtles may even smack you with their flipper or their fin, their foot, their arm, whatever that part is called. But they really put up with pretty much everyone. You can get pretty close and really enjoy the view of these beautiful creatures. We also saw some sharks. They were the white tip sharks. I thought a couple were nurse sharks, but I was wrong. They were white tip as well. So we saw a total of 4 when we were working our way around the pier. There were butterfly fish, there was angelfish. I saw a potter's angel, which was really cool. I actually enjoyed seeing fish that I, of course, have kept in an aquarium or family members have kept in their aquariums. Everyone in the group had to stop by and check out the frogfish, and I did so as well. By the way, this was all filmed on an iPhone 11 inside a Kraken case. And it worked pretty well. I'm actually pleased with the results. The nice thing about this is you can look at your video as soon as you come out of the water. Coral-wise, there was, like this one right here, there was quite a few, but they just don't look like what I'm used to seeing in an aquarium. So I looked it up to see what they were all called. But before I do that, what did I see? Doesn't that look like Spock? That's it! This is an Aso right here in Hawaii. So awesome. This is a very healthy specimen. And I followed it around for about a minute because I had to get a good look. Beautiful fish. Anyway, so the corals I looked up, here are the big contenders. Porites lobata, Montipora capitata, Montipora patula, Porites compressa, and then the rest are like hit or miss. You might see some other ones. We spotted several different types of eels in this reef, which was really enjoyable. And of course, we had to tell each other, look in this one spot right here. And so that way no one missed out on the opportunity. I saw at least 6 different types of tangs in the water, as well as the pygmy angelfish. And I saw some parrotfish and quite a few triggers. And then, of course, these beautiful coral colonies. This one here had been broken. Apparently there's some harlequin shrimp in there, and some people were determined to see them and were actually touching that coral and caused some damage. For aquarists, the number 1 rule, of course, is to never touch anything in the ocean because you don't want to damage it, because we know how much life is in there. I mean, we totally appreciate it. But for some recreational divers or just some tourists that are diving for, the occasional time, they do some damage. And that even happens with snorkelers. And there was signs at the airport that even said, do not step on anything except sand if you're going to touch down. So we want to always be really aware of our body and make sure that we're not hitting it with our tank or any of our gear or get anything snagged on it that could damage it. Besides damselfish that were everywhere, there was at least 5 different urchins from those big red pencil urchins to the diademas, and then the little small ones that we see pop up sometimes as hitchhikers on our live rock when we purchase that. This is an artificial reef. What had happened was the pier was hit by a storm, a hurricane, in 1992. Believe it or not, I believe it was September 11th. And when this happened, it just knocked down the entire wharf. It collapsed. It used to be used for docking for ships. And so all the structure has now become a home for all these animals. Our total dive time ended up being about 77 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's what we're going to do for today. And there'll be another reef diary from here, because I'm sure there'll be more to share. Please give this video a thumbs up if you can. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I'll see you again soon.